there comes a moment, not loud, not dramatic, but real, a moment when something clicks inside you. It's not the absence of fear, it's the presence of choice. You've been through storms, through setbacks, through days so silent, you wondered if the world forgot you. But listen, you're still here, and that means something. That means everything. Because strength, it doesn't show up in applause. It shows up in your decision to keep going when nothing around you says you should. You see the ones we admire, the icons, the legends, they didn't wait. They acted. Oprah didn't wait to be understood. J.K. Rowling didn't wait to feel ready. They moved forward, even when the path wasn't clear. And you have that same power. Not someday. Not when it's perfect. Right now. Stop waiting for confidence. It doesn't show up first. It shows up after you begin. So move, even if your legs shake. Speak, even if your voice wavers. Act, even if the doubts scream louder than the dreams. This moment, it's not your ending. It's your edge. The edge of growth. The edge of a new level. And no, you're not starting from nothing. You're starting from experience. From lessons. From strength that pain has carved into your bones. You're not broken. You're becoming. Imagine this. You're walking through thick fog. You can't see the road. You don't know what's ahead. Most would freeze. But not you. You take one step. Then another. That's belief. That's power. You may not feel strong. But if you're still walking, you are. Let today be messy. Let it be uncertain. Let it be hard. That's how solid ground is built. One imperfect step at a time. Skyscrapers don't rise in a day. They're built deep, before they ever rise tall. So pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what is this moment making of me? Not, why me? But, who am I becoming because of this? That's your turning point, not the world's permission. Your decision. Because belief, you don't wait for it. You build it. In silence. In struggle. In the moment you refuse to stay down. So again, who are you when no one is watching? That's your foundation. That's your power. Because in the end, resilience is not loud. It's steady. It's the quiet courage of someone who just won't quit. And that someone is you. The world. It won't always be calm. It won't always be fair. But your power was never meant to come from the outside. Your strength starts here. In your thoughts. In your focus. In the story you tell yourself when everything around you shakes. Listen closely. It's not what life hands you that defines you. It's what you decide it means. You can see a storm and shrink. Or you can see the same storm and build. Pain doesn't break you, but your interpretation of it can. The real challenge? It's not out there. It's inside. It's the voice that says, this is the end. This is too much. This is where I stop. But what if you trained a new voice? A voice that whispers, no. This is the beginning. Picture this. You're in total darkness. A hallway with no lights. No direction. Most people, they freeze. They panic. But you stretch out your hand. You find the wall. You take one step forward. That's not luck. That's belief. Not the loud kind. The quiet kind. The kind that shows up every day. Even on the hard days. Especially on the hard days. You don't rise because it's easy. You rise because you refuse to stay down. You're shaping your mind like iron. Not with inspiration, but with intention. You don't wait for motivation. You build discipline. In the dark, in the quiet, in the repetition. Every thought matters. Because your thoughts become your lens. And your lens, it becomes your life. So ask yourself, am I feeding courage or feeding doubt? Because when fear leads, every obstacle feels like a wall. But when faith leads, every wall feels like a challenge. You don't control every situation, but you always control your frame. Will this be a dead end or a turning point? The choice is yours. Purpose changes pain, because pain without meaning, that's suffering. But pain with purpose, that's fuel. You're not built to endure endlessly. You're built to endure forward. You're digging through rock with your bare hands. It's bloody. It's exhausting. But, on the other side is light. You're not broken. You're focused. You're not stuck. You're forging something greater. So shift the question. Not, why is this happening? But, what is this preparing me for? That's the mindset that builds champions. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Prepared for the moment when someone needs your story, your resilience, your voice. Maybe it's your future self. Maybe it's someone watching from afar. Maybe it's the next generation. Either way, every step you take through the storm, it's not just for you. It's for them. That's legacy. That's impact. That's why you keep going. Because comfort is easy, but calling is worth it. And today, you walk with mission. You rise with reason. You endure with purpose. That is your superpower. You don't rise to your hopes. You rise to your standards. To what you expect. Not what you wish for. What you're prepared for. Read this carefully. You don't get what you want. You get what you're ready to receive. Expectation is energy. It's direction. It's silent instruction to the universe. And your world. It listens to your beliefs louder than your words. Wake up expecting defeat, and your body slumps. Your eyes drop. Your spirit dims. Wake up expecting greatness, and everything shifts. You stand taller. You speak stronger. You act bolder. Not because the world changed, because you did. So ask yourself, right now, what are you expecting? Are you bracing for loss, or preparing for a win? Two people, same soil. One prepares the ground, sharpens the tools, plants with vision. The other stares at the sky and says, maybe it won't rain. Who harvests more? You know the answer. Train your mind to expect the best. Not with arrogance, with confidence, with discipline. Say it out loud. I will win because I must. I will grow because staying small is no longer an option. This is not a mantra. It's a contract. With yourself. And yes, there will be delays. There will be silence. There will be moments when nothing seems to work. But that's not failure. That's foundation. That's what greatness is built on. Because resilience, it isn't born in loud victories. It's born in quiet decisions. Decisions to keep going, to rebuild, to rise, even when the doors close, even when trust is broken, even when the vision fades. That moment, when no one is cheering, when no one sees the cost, that's where true strength lives. So ask again, what are you expecting from yourself, from your life, from this moment? Because your expectations shape your behavior, and your behavior shapes your results. You're not here to react. You're here to create. You're not here to play small. You're here to stretch. Expect the win. Expect the breakthrough. Expect to be tested and to rise stronger. You are not here to survive. You're here to evolve. And every time you expect more from yourself, you get closer to who you were always meant to be. Resilience isn't one big moment. It's a daily decision, not something you read, not something you hear, something you live. Over and over again, it's waking up and showing up, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because here's the truth, life won't always applaud you. People won't always understand you. But you don't move for applause. You move for alignment. You rebuild. Not once, not twice. Daily. You rebuild after the job falls through, after the heartbreak, after the plan you held so tightly falls apart, and you face the mirror and ask, will I fold, or will I rise again? That question, that's your moment of power, because true strength, it's not built in celebration. It's built in silence, in the shadows, when no one sees, when no one claps, only you know what it took to stand up again. Imagine this, a sculptor crafting a masterpiece. And just when it's nearly complete, it cracks, splits, ruins. Most would walk away, but not the master. He stays. He starts again, not with frustration, but with precision, with purpose, because the vision is stronger than the setback. So what about you? Maybe you've lost something that mattered. Maybe someone left. Maybe something ended. But here's the truth. You are not broken. You are built. Built by every step you've taken, every tear you've wiped, every no you turned into fuel. Resilience isn't about avoiding pain. It's about refusing to be defined by it. So ask yourself, what would change? If you decided to be unshakable, what could you build? If falling didn't scare you anymore, the world doesn't need more perfection. It needs more you. You, who knows how to lose and still lead. You, who knows grief and still gives. You, who chooses to rise again and again. Each morning you do, you're writing a story worth remembering. Not a story of what stopped you, but a story of what couldn't hold you down. Because in the end, resilience isn't a trait. It's your quiet anthem, a declaration of who you've become through every rise. Before anything great is built on the outside, something greater must be built within. And it starts with one powerful truth. You must believe, not because the world believes, not because you have all the proof, but because belief is the beginning. It's not a gift. It's a choice. One made in silence, in stillness, in the unseen moments where confidence is nowhere to be found. And yet, you move, because belief isn't about knowing. It's about trusting. Trusting that if you begin, you'll figure it out. That if you fail, you'll learn. And if you rise, you'll rise stronger. Imagine this. You stand before a massive door. It's tall. It's heavy. It's locked. And carved above it, a simple message. Only those who believe may enter. Most people stop there. They hesitate. They turn back. They wait for a guarantee. But not you. You step forward. You knock. Not because you're certain what's inside, but because you're certain you can handle whatever comes. That's real power. That's belief. And here's the secret. You don't wait to feel it. You act like the version of you who already has it. You move with intention. You speak with strength. You carry yourself with the gravity of someone who matters. Because you do. Your future, it doesn't respond to fear. It responds to faith, to movement, to energy, to someone who's willing to walk through uncertainty and trust their ability to rise. So ask yourself, what dreams are you postponing just because belief hasn't shown up yet? What talents are gathering dust, waiting for your permission? What version of you is still locked behind fear? Stop waiting. Start walking. Start building the belief. Because every empire began as a whisper. And that whisper, I can. That's where it all begins. Not when it's perfect. Not when you feel ready. But now. So carry that whisper into today. Let your actions speak louder than your doubt. Let your steps teach your mind that you are capable. Belief follows movement. And movement begins. Now. Legacy. It's not something you leave behind. It's something you build. While you're breathing. It's not carved in stone. It's written in your decisions, your presence, your example. You don't need millions of followers. You don't need a stage. You don't need applause. You need alignment. When your actions match your purpose. When your values show up in your voice. When your habits reflect who you truly are. That is legacy. It's not one big moment. It's the pattern of your life. Each time you choose to rise, each time you choose truth, each time you keep going when it's easier to stop, you're leaving a mark, not in monuments, but in minds, not in speeches, but in stories. Someone is watching you right now, learning not from what you say, but from how you live. So ask yourself, what are you building? Not just out there, but within. Are you building consistency? Character? Conviction? Or are you waiting waiting for the right mood, the right moment, the perfect path. The world doesn't need more perfection. It needs more people who show up, who care deeply, who live intentionally. You may think, what I do doesn't matter. But it does. Every message you send, every habit you form, every choice to grow, it matters. Legacy is not built in spotlight. It's shaped in silence, in early mornings, in honest conversations, in how you treat others, and how you treat yourself. You don't need permission to matter. You already do. So today, write the next line. Build the next brick. Speak the next truth. Don't chase the image. Chase the impact. Because in the end, no one remembers the trophies. They remember the strength. The way you stood tall in storms. The way you lifted others, even when you were tired. That's what lasts. Not perfection. Presence. Not fame. Faith. Not noise. Legacy. So rise today. Not for applause. Not for recognition. But because you are building something eternal. Your life. Your grit. Your light. They are the legacy. And you're writing it. Right now.